Welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we make up for yesterday's lack of sites and visit two locations which can be linked back to the 5th Tokugawa Shogunate, who reigned at the turn of the century from the 1600s to the 1700s. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Let's go.
Do you see what I see?
Of course I see what you see. Hello, I'm wearing sunglasses.
Can you believe it's actually a blue sunny day, not a cloud in the sky?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's amazing. So we're gonna go out there and explore a temple, a garden, and then top it off with an onigiri meal. Let's get going. I was uncharacteristically hungry this morning, so on our way to our first destination, we popped into a FamilyMart. I just picked up an onigiri and a hot Boss coffee. I decided to pick a beef onigiri. I haven't seen beef onigiri before in FamilyMart. Doesn't mean it's new or anything, just means I've never noticed it. So let's give this a try.
I like the crunch of that nori.
Yeah, you can thank the crispiness to the ingenious packaging that we keep highlighting. It keeps the nori separate from the rice, keeps it really, really crunchy. And this is really good. This is beef with some kind of sauce in here. It's a sweet sauce. I can't really discern what it is exactly, but it's got a good savory and sweet kind of combo going on. This is an excellent kind of pick-me-up to get me moving this morning. Let's go. We had a fork in the route in Google Maps, and one way looked a lot more direct to where we're trying to go, and the other way was kind of bending through what looked like a forested area. And I asked Nicole, which way do you want to go? You want to go the direct way, or do you want to go into what this green area on the map? And she said, let's go for the green area. And I'm so happy that she did, because it ended up being a marvelous Japanese cemetery. It's huge. Zoshigaya Cemetery. So we're going to stroll through this cemetery, take in some of the sights. It's really tranquil. You can see some of the big buildings kind of looming off in the distance. So it's another little oasis outside the hustle and bustle. Let's go in and take a look. We're almost out of the cemetery, and Nicole just pointed something out that we almost missed, and it's something quite unusual. It's a little area where there's a few crosses, some tombstones that are in the shape of crosses, and you're seeing some other tombstones around that have the emblem on it, either on the top or sort of carved into it, but these ones here are actually full-on crosses. And usually Japanese cemeteries, as you would imagine, you don't see that kind of imagery. Onigiri number 2 is an old classic, an old favorite that I will always get when I'm in a pinch, and that is tuna and mayo. And it's just a great combination. It's like the Japanese tuna fish sandwich, except no bread, just rice. I love it when they're generous with the mayo, which this one is. Sometimes it's a little bit skimpy on the mayo, but this one has a lot of mayo and just a bit of It's like canned tuna. It's not fresh. It's not fresh tuna. It's cooked. Really, really good. This is hitting the spot. The third and last component of my breakfast on the run here is a hot can of Boss espresso. I have not tried this one before. I'm expecting it's going to be black. Let's see. There's nothing like a Boss coffee in the morning. It is black, but it has a sweetness to it. I was not expecting it to be a little sweet. So this is the espresso, and then a bunch of Japanese I don't understand. That's gonna wash down the onigiri, give me a little bit of a caffeine hit hopefully, and get us to our first destination. Our first official stop today is Gokokuji Temple, and this temple dates back to the late 1600s. It was ordered to be built by the 5th Shogunate, and it's a massive complex here. The approach is very grand, going through 2 gates, up a bunch of stairs to the main hall here, which sits in the center of the grounds, surrounded by smaller buildings, a pagoda, statues, a cemetery. It's an amazing place to come and explore. Let's walk around and see some of the sights of this amazing temple complex. That was a really beautiful, peaceful, and relaxing walk around the temple grounds.
It was, but I think it's because we lucked out and came on a national holiday.
Yeah, I guess a bit bittersweet. Today is the ascension to the throne for the new emperor, and so it's a very newly registered national holiday. And it's bittersweet because on one hand, this place is really quiet and there's not a lot of people milling about, but on the other hand, it's all closed, so you can't see inside the temple. But the grounds are extremely peaceful because there aren't a billion people walking around. I
think the grounds and the outside architecture are the star of the show anyways. So I don't think, I would rather trade the crowds for what we have today, because it has been a very enjoyable visit. Yeah,
I agree. And for all of you, you probably are happy about that as well, because we can't usually film inside temples anyways. There's no cameras allowed, so all you really get to see is the outside. So seeing it in such a peaceful atmosphere is a little bit of a bonus.
It is. What is your favorite part of this temple?
Oh, that's a tough call. I think the approach is really amazing and spectacular. It's very grand, so I really like that.
It sets you up for the big show at the end.
Yeah, like you're going up these stairs, and then once you get to the very top and you look forward, you just see this massive hall of the temple. So that's pretty impressive, probably my favorite. How about you?
I like like you said, the gates leading up to it, but I like that they have these big white lanterns and then the flags on the main temple. I know they're temporary, but they're so new and they just add like a really festive air.
Yeah, they're very colorful and they have a really nice pattern on them, I was noticing. So yeah, really great place to come visit, spend a few hours to relax. There's lots of benches you can sit in the shade as we are doing at the moment and just sort of take it all in and relax. So we're off to our second destination for the day, and that place has a link to this temple, and we'll explain that when we get there.
As we were walking back down the stairs, we noticed this little path to one side leading to another little temple, and couldn't help ourselves and had to take a quick look. And somehow we totally missed this building on the way up the approach. We took a quick side stop to check out the beautiful gardens and koi pond.
We didn't get too far out of the temple before we got sucked into a restaurant. I guess we're feeling a little bit hungry, and Nicole went over across the street to check out a restaurant while I was looking at this really cool entranceway into the temple grounds, which is closed off, but just really impressive architecture and like the roof and the doors, really neat. And then I ran over and it's this tiny little shop that Nicole thought we could get some takeout from and eat it as we were walking. And then when we looked at the menu, like, no, we should totally just go in and sit down and have a quick meal, even though this wasn't part of the plan. So we have done that. And this is an Indian restaurant, and we have been served, we put in an order. They have a lot of different lunch sets, and the first thing that kind of hits us, or actually wowed us, was this naan, the size of this naan. And then Nicole broke into it and started eating it and just would not stop raving about it. How do you describe this naan?
This is the best naan I've had in my life. It's so soft, it's warm, and it's a big pillow, and it's not super greasy. And I usually don't like naan very much. Usually I just think of it as the vessel to get the curry or the sauce into my mouth. But this time, that's the star of the show. I ordered butter chicken, and I got 2 little containers of butter chicken, a rice, and a piece of chicken tikka. But I'm just blown away by the naan. It smells amazing and it tastes amazing, and it's huge.
Cole referenced this, and I'm going to reference it as well because I was pretty shocked. It looks like this naan would be very greasy and oily, but it's not. It doesn't leave a heavy residue on your fingers, which as you're operating cameras, you really appreciate. And the other thing that I find really good about this naan is that it's very lightly cooked. Like a lot of times you get a naan that's actually overcooked, and it gets kind of stiff, and it's harder to tear, but this one just rips apart and is really, as Nicole said, soft and really tasty. You know, there's no charring on it, and I think I prefer this style versus a really hot tandoor oven where they slap it in and then it gets chars on it, because I find that's when you get like almost cracker-like consistency on one side of the naan. I like this one where it's nice and soft. I got a dal curry and a egg keema curry, and both are really good. Flavors are on point, not too spicy, goes really well with the naan. Really happy we wandered in here.
That was a totally random and unexpected stop, but I'm really glad I came because my belly's happy, and I stopped because when I was walking by, the smell is incredible. I also want to point out just how large this restaurant is. This is my wingspan. That's the end of the restaurant.
It wasn't long after lunch that we were walking towards our next destination, and we came upon a spectacular site we just had to pop in and take a quick look at. This is Hondenji Temple, And it is literally like 5 minutes down the road from that massive complex we were just at earlier.
That's what I love about Tokyo. There's just no shortage of things to see, and if you're not into like the big electronics, the shopping, there's so many temples and shrines that you can come visit. I think it's pretty underrated that way.
Yeah, just do a Google search of like shrine or temple and you'll see all kinds show up that you would be surprised at. We've done that before in previous trips. I'll put a link to one of the videos down below of one where we went temple hopping in one little neighborhood. It was incredible. You can find that kind of thing all over the place. This one here, I really love the wood carving under the roof line. There's like a phoenix and a dragon and what looks like elephants and lions. It's really awesome. So let's continue on our way to our official second destination.
Welcome to a place of special scenic beauty.
That's a rather specific way of describing this place we just got to.
Well, it says so on the brochure, and if it says so on the brochure, it's got to be true.
Second official stop for the day is Rikugien Gardens, and this garden dates back to the early 1700s, 1702 or 1705, around there, and it was built by the lord of Kawagoe Prefecture, or domain at the time. And he was given this land actually by the 5th Shogunate to build this garden. He was in favor with the 5th Shogunate, and apparently the 5th Shogunate came here often to stroll the gardens. This garden is special because it's in a loop. Well, sometimes gardens just you kind of meander around it, but this one has an actual circuit, which is a loop, which is nice.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Just the loops.
Yeah, because you're not having to retrace your steps. And the link between these gardens and the temple we were at this morning is the 5th Shogunate. He ordered the temples to be built back in his reign, around the same time that these gardens were being built. I think the temple was finished in the late 1600s, like just at the turn of the century, and then the gardens came about. So pretty cool. He had his hand in this area. So we're gonna stroll around and enjoy the gardens and take you along to see the scenery.
Some factoids for you about this park. It'll cost you 300 yen to come in if you're adults. If you're children or senior, it'll cost you 150 yen. And it is a very vast park, so you may want to use the facilities before you start your tour. Luckily, the washrooms are located at the very beginning at the entrance to your right. If you get tired or thirsty on your trek, you do not need to worry because there's a tea house here. So for about 550 yen, you can get a nice cup of matcha and a sweet.
As we said earlier, this is a loop. So you will walk all the way around the garden and come out to where you started, and there's two loops. There's an inner loop and an outer loop. So at some point the loop will veer off and you can take the shorter loop if you desire, which is about 45 minutes, or you can take the outer longer loop, which is about an hour and a half. Now also keep your eyes out for the path that takes you up to the hill. It's kind of opposite of where the entrance gate is.
It's a little bit hidden, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit hidden. You could easily miss it if you're not looking for it. And it's well worth going up those steps to check out the view of the man-made pond here. It's really spectacular. in the grocery store looking for food for dinner, and I happened upon what looks like a curry library. Let me show you. Look at all these different curries. From a distance, I thought they were actually books, but they're not. They're all various types of curry. Hakodate curry, Otaru black curry, beef tongue curry, all kinds of different curries. Even pro wrestling curry. Miyajima curry. This is a mecca for a curry lover like me. Which one am I gonna get? We hear that music play every day at 5 p.m. and we was wondering what it is. Some people say that this is a signal to the kids to go home for dinner, but on further research I found out that it's actually something way more important than that. And it went into effect over 50 years ago. After a major earthquake hit Niigata in 1964, Japan went on a mission to install this system throughout the country. And this is their emergency broadcast system. And what they're doing at 5 o'clock every day is testing to make sure it's still working. So I guess if 5 p.m. hits and we don't hear the music, then we should know that the emergency broadcast system isn't working properly anymore and somebody should come and fix it. So we've heard this many times throughout our travels in Japan in various towns, and sometimes it plays at 6. Like in the summer, I think they actually play it at 6. In the winter, they tend to play it at 5. It can be all kinds of different tunes. There's no one standard throughout the entire country, but just that every day they run this test to make sure that it's still working. So if you're wandering around a town in Japan and you hear this music at 5 p.m., rest assured that the emergency broadcast system there to warn you of any impending disasters is functioning properly. And if you hear something crazy over loudspeakers other than 5 p.m., you should maybe try and pay attention to what's going on around you, because that could signal that there's something actually coming or about to hit. I spent way too much time at the curry library at the grocery store today trying to figure out which curry to get. There was just too many options to choose from, but I finally settled on a Hakodate pork curry. And this is Supreme Hakodate curry. I'm expecting really good things being called Supreme. They had a few different Hakodate curries, but I thought I'd go with pork. I pre-ripped the top up so that we could get this out somewhat easier with one hand. So this is what it looks like. All the curries are in a similar kind of package like this. And what we do is we just want to drop it into hot boiling water for 5 minutes. So for timing 5 minutes, we'll go over to the toaster oven, and we have a whole slew of deep fried goods to reheat. Nicole went for some tempura, and I'm gonna help her eat some of that. And I also got some more menchikatsus. One is a mix of pork. Oh, there's the rice cooker is done. Our soji rushi rice cooker. We'll just give the rice a stir to fluff it up and let it steam while the rest of our food finishes. But as I was saying, I got some more menchikatsus. So I got one, the big one at the back is a mix of pork, beef, and chicken. And then the front one I think is mashed potatoes with cream cheese. The person we purchased it from did mention that it's cream cheese, so I'm not quite sure what he thinks cream cheese is versus what I think cream cheese is, but we're gonna find out. And all this tempura is gonna take multiple reheats. So this will probably take us about 3 to 4 minutes, so I'm gonna set that to 4, and that should be the perfect time for the curry. Dinner is served. The curry pack is a lot more substantial than I was expecting. It has chunks of carrot, some chunks of potato, and some pork in there. But let's just taste the flavor of the sauce. It's quite mild. Compared to the go-go curry packs, like, I'm not counting the heated one because that one just, I couldn't taste it. But the other one has a very deep, strong flavor. This one here is very mild. It's very nice. There's a very little tiny bit of heat at the back of the throat. That is good. Let's try the croquette. Let's try the big 3-meat menchi katsu first. It is a massive one. It's so big. There's my head. All right, let's see. Again, the outside has recovered very well. It's nice and crunchy. And the inside is really smooth. The meat has a really nice smooth consistency with little chunks of onion. I just get a really meaty flavor. I couldn't tell you that it was 3 meats if I didn't know that. It's just nice, meaty, nice little hit of onion in there. And then the crunch on the outside. It's all very good pairing. And let's try this. What he said was cream cheese croquette. It's a mashed potato. I did not hit cheese yet. But the mashed potato is really super creamy. Like, if you could imagine, not like a lumpy homemade mashed potato, but one that's been really pureed and probably a lot of butter and cream to give it that really kind of creamy consistency. I love mashed potato croquettes with the crunchy exterior. There's a little bit of the cheese. Yeah, it totally has that cream cheese vibe. Not exactly what I would say is like a cream cheese we would have at home. It's slightly different somehow, but it just adds a nice little kind of tartness to go along with the mashed potato. Wow, this is going to be a very filling and good meal. It's time for dessert. That curry and the deep fried menchi and the croquette, it was all really, really good. But I do want something sweet, and I picked up a few things at the train station sweet, and I was going to eat this on the way, but then I completely forgot about it in our rush to get home. This is similar to the taiyaki, the fish cake with stuffing, but this is just in sort of like a bun form. I took just a very shallow bite to try the actual cake, and this reminds me of like a really dense pancake almost. Let's go in there for the paste. I got red bean paste. The red bean paste is not super sweet. It has a very beany flavor and just a hint of sweetness. It's quite chunky. It's not, hasn't been pureed, completely smooth. And the bun has completely enveloped the bean paste. This is excellent. As usual, you could catch him making these fresh. He had his griddle set up and he was pouring batter and then filling it with the filling. He was just pumping them out like crazy. Wow, that's excellent. That's exactly the kind of dessert you need after a big bowl of curry. One last bit of food before I start working for the evening. It's just past 6:30. I like starting by 7 when I'm working at night. And what I have is another dessert. So I got that cake with red bean filling as a snack, but forgot about it, so I had to eat that after dinner. But these things I actually bought specifically to have as dessert, and these are daifuku. And daifuku are mochi stuffed with some kind of filling, usually a red bean filling known as anko. And mochi is a glutinous rice that's been pounded down to sort of like a gooey, doughy consistency. And you can get mochis just like that, or these daifukus take it up another notch. They're really delicate because it's quite difficult to create these little balls with stuffing because the mochi is so hard to work with. And I've got one open here. It was a little bit tricky without completely ruining the daifuku. I had to be careful because these ones do feel really, really delicate.
I got these from a vendor at the train station. Actually, the guy had a little booth set up in sort of the main hall, one of the halls of the train station, and he had all kinds of different daifukus and mochis. And I'm a sucker for daifuku, so I wanted to grab a couple. They look pretty legit. So here is the one I've got. This one is a yogurt and citrus. I believe it was citrus. And the other one I picked up was strawberry. But this one sounds the most unique to me, so I thought I'd give it a try. The mochi itself is very thin. Wow. That is excellent. It is like a very thick yogurt inside with a little bit of, it is citrus, like a citrus jelly. It reminds me of sort of, you can get the yogurt with the fruit on the bottom. It kind of has that vibe going. Like you get the really strong yogurt, and then at the bottom you get a little bit of the fruit. I was always the kind of kid that would eat the yogurt first, or almost to the very bottom, and then mix it up and have a really, really strongly flavored fruit yogurt. Let me see if I can show you the inside here. So you can see the mochi is very thin. And this white here is the yogurt cream, and there's a little bit of the fruit jelly kind of coming out. And this is a really nice treat to have with a really hot cup of tea. Kind of helps dissolve the mochi a little bit in your mouth. I might have to have the strawberry tonight. We're gonna see how it goes, but yeah, I gotta get down to work. I say down because I don't know if I told you, but they gave us access to another unit that has a desk. This one was supposed to have a laptop friendly space, but it didn't. So when I asked her about that, she offered this other unit that they have available till Saturday. So I've been using that, and maybe I'll take you down with me when I go down there to show it to you. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this daifuku up and then get ready to go start working. Made it downstairs after that dessert for my work evening. I'll just give you a quick look of this unit. Just turned all the lights on so you could see. This is on the 4th floor. Looks very similar in size to our unit, and a lot of similarities, like the kitchen. The bathroom looks very much the same. But of course, the bedroom area is different. There's one bed here, ours has 2 beds. And then there's enough room for a desk, which is why I'm here. So I can sit here a lot more comfortably than on the couch and get some work done. And here's a view back towards the front door. So other than the desk, I think we like our unit a lot more. Nicole came down to check this out with me, and she really likes the way ours is set up and the furniture that we have up in our room. A single bed would be nice, but I think overall we enjoy our unit, and this one, the only advantage it has is the desk. So I'm gonna get over there, get my work day done, and then we will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed visiting a few sites in Tokyo with histories dating back to the late 1600s. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. We'll see you next week.